Jack Dempsey is the angry hobo who could.
In the case we have here, Jack Dempsey is a very, very vicious man. And as you see, fights like someone hasn't eaten for 5 days. Oh man, I'm crazy about Jack Dempsey because of this ferocious intensity. You know?
Hey everybody, and welcome back. Well, it is early morning in Old Town Temecula, and for the longest time, my dad, my mom have always said, when I do a video in Temecula, they said, don't you know that Jack Dempsey, he trained up there once? And yes, Jack Dempsey, the fighter, back in the 1920s, trained here in Temecula. Now, the fight was actually held in New York at Yankee Stadium at that time. And the interesting story about this, Jack Dempsey and Jack Sharkey, who was just 7 years younger to Jack Dempsey, both trained here, supposedly. Well, no. They did train here, but they did not fight here. That's the facts. So I'm going to show you where they fought, a little bit of the stories behind it, and look around Old Town early in the morning as the solo car comes by. Wondering what I'm doing, I'm sure, like most of these people at 6 a.m. in the morning, but the sun's coming up. We're going to head into town. We're going to head into the Old Town. Let's go. Just like anywhere I go, I love getting up early. I mean, I always have been that guy. I always got to work early. I'm never late for anything. Probably be early for my own funeral. But with that being said, you can get a lot of stuff done. You can look around without all the hustle and bustle, which this will be in just a couple hours. It's gonna really, by 7, 8 o'clock, people are gonna start rolling in for breakfast, brunch, and by noon there will be nowhere to park. But right now, we got the place to ourselves. Now, I've stated this before, well, Mad Madeline's, this is a great place to come. If you come to Temecula, go here for breakfast. Out of all the niche little places, this is the spot, and they have an ATM, but that's probably the best deal too, and you can sit and watch everybody go by. So what I was about to say is Temecula is, Old Town Temecula, a facade of old and new. Obviously new, but it looks old. Hotel Palomar, old, known as to be, well, a pretty haunted place, I guess. I've done a video on this before in the past, but there's some creepy stories about this place. I'm not doing a story on this today, but who knows? Jack could have been here in the early 1920s. Now, Temecula was really founded around 1898 is when the cowboys, and well, there was always Indians out here as well. There were saloons down there, and we're going to talk about that. The Blind Pig Saloon. And then above that is where Jack Dempsey built a boxing ring and was training for his fight against Sharkey. I did just want to point this out. Looks like they have a newer placard here, which is actually really nice. Built in 1927. So that's the year the fight was. Named Hotel McCulloch after the owner, Lena McCulloch. In 1937, it was bought by the Gooch, Irene Gooch, and renamed the Palomar Hotel. And I think you just have to come down here. I'm going to be quiet because there could be people sleeping up there. There is no air conditioner. I know that on this place. Maybe one day I will. Well, I'll get a room. I'm not saying I'm going to spend the night, but I'll spend a couple of hours in here to just kind of check it out. So now the reason why this fight was so important in history is because Jack Dempsey was looking to fight Gene Tooney, and he had to get through Sharkey to even have a fight against him. So when he did this fight, this was pioneered as one of the first fights that was like on radio, that was really broadcast and brought in over $1 million. Now, that was unheard of, especially for the time and the amount that would have, you know, the equivalent of what it would be in today's dollars really be outstanding. So he was really looking at getting back to this. However, he had his doubts because he knew how well of a fighter Jack Sharkey was, and he was worried if he could still beat him. Now, he was born in Manzana, Colorado. Jack Dempsey was. He was also known as Kid Blackie. And he was also, I'll be right back. We're gonna move locations real quick. So I moved directly across the street because, as you can see, the building behind me, if you look up that, well, that white staircase that you walk up, while I was filming, I heard something to my left and somebody was trying to get my attention. I didn't know anybody was there. Not one, not two, but three somebodies were hidden behind there, only a few feet from me, so I did move over. We're gonna go down now to the Blind Pig Saloon, and we're also gonna go show where Jack Dempsey would have built that ring. So he was known as the Mansala Mauler, being from Mansana, not Mansala, Colorado. So that got me. That did. I was not expecting that this early in the morning. So with that being said, well, it looks like these folks are definitely ready for Halloween. That is pretty cool. As I was saying, I like being able to come down here early in the morning because then you're able to actually look around and see some of the old spots of Temecula. We got City Hall right there, and pretty soon on the other side of that, when Christmas time rolls around, they'll put an ice skating rink. But with that being said, that is where City Hall is now. Back in the day, these streets were hustling and bustling with spitting and cursing. Got the bank right there. There's also the Mercantile. And right over here on this corner, that's where Jack Dempsey would have set up his ring, and we'll go take a look. On the corner, and right up there is where the ring was built. So that's where Jack Dempsey and supposedly Jack Sharkey, I'm not sure if he was there, but I think he was, set up the ring. And that's where he was preparing for this fight at New York Yankee Stadium. The comeback fight against, like I was saying, Gene Tooney. Now, down below was the Blind Pig Saloon. And I just did a video on Louis Rohrapod. He was a cattleman for the Vail Lake Ranch out here. And when I was looking for his grave, I noticed something pretty interesting, that this guy that I walked by another grave died on December 24th in the early 1900s. Now, right there, the guy that passed away, I'm going to do a video on him. I guess he got in a fight, shot and killed right there. And while I'm standing here, there's a plaque directly below me, and we'll get into that, about Preston Van Swoogen. Electric bike, known as the Prez, got killed here too. Okay, so there's more killings than I thought of, and we'll get into that in a second. But I just want to get into that. Okay, so Jack Dempsey, born 6/24, 1895. I try not to go off notes all that often, but sometimes I need to. Died at age 87 in New York. Total fights, 84-5. Wins, 68. KOs, 53. Losses, 6. And 10 draws. Now this fight against Sharkey, I'm going to include the clip here, and you can let me know what you think. A lot of people say it was a cheap shot. I don't think so. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the fight, and then I'll include the fight, and you can just put your own comment or your own 2 cents.
Far behind on points. He starts going after Sharkey's body. Dempsey wails away at Sharkey's midsection. As the younger man turns to the referee, Dempsey whips in a left hook to Sharkey's exposed chin.
So as I was filming that last clip, I was right here at the Be Good restaurant. Look at this. Original, built about, that's how sure they are, about 1884 by the old, that's a proprietor. So this guy, Louis Escalier, in 1898. So the Escalier Hotel and Saloon and Pool Hall, raised in 1928. So that, somebody in that family died on Christmas Eve. Now, here, down at your knees or ankles, at this location on December 1907-24, oh yeah, this is it, okay. Here's the other guy, Temecula Constable Preston Van Swoogen, known as the Prez by the folks. The small cattle town of the Temecula was shot and killed while trying to break up a barroom brawl. So, okay, so look at this. He left his home during Christmas Eve dinner with friends and family after getting, with friends and family after getting word there was trouble at the bar. He entered the business unarmed, and after confronting the troublemakers, was shot dead. The shooter was captured, tried, and sentenced to jail. So 2 guys shot. Echeverria, too, was the other guy that I saw. Wow, that's interesting. all down here, and then there's the old bank. But we're gonna walk over here, and there's a plaque as I head across the street. Oh, there comes the sun as it rises in the east. Down there's the Swingin' Cafe, owned now by Dean Norris from Breaking Bad. But upstairs here, that's where Jack would have been. Now this place has definitely been touched up here, but it still has the bones of it. It's been almost 100 years, so definitely needs to be. Definitely needs ADA sidewalks. So got the Old Town records. The one thing I could not find on here, which I think is kind of strange, is why was he here? He's a fighter from Colorado. I mean, I know a lot of celebrities went out to Lake Elsinore back in the day. This is now the Olive Oil Company. And right here is the plaque behind this tree. There's the old plaque. However, that plaque is a little roached out, so they made a new plaque. That's just the story of the building itself. Now, here we go. Joe Winkle acquired the building and called it the Ramona Inn. He operated a blind pig or illegal saloon downstairs and built a boxing ring upstairs. Boxing greats Jim Jeffries, Jack Sharkey, and Jack Dempsey worked out upstairs ring. Many Los Angeles newspaper men and Hollywood actors, producers, including H.M. Beanie Walker, George Harriman, Fatty Arbuckle. He's got a Fatty Arbuckle is a whole nother story, but Buster Keaton, George McManus, and Hal Roach frequented the Ramona Inn. Now an olive oil company. So now I walk to the main Old Town Front Street side of it, and directly behind this place is the old jail. I've shown that too. Here's a jerky store that has every type of jerk you want. Alligator jerk, bison jerk, beef, etc. So let me know what you think about this fight. Was it fair? Did Jack Dempsey take a cheap shot? One of the things that was said was that Jack Sharkey said was, I broke one of the most common rules about fighting Jack Dempsey. You take your eyes off him. So that's what happened. I mean, Jack Dempsey said he thought he was going to get knocked out in the first 6 rounds. He really felt that he was losing the fight. So he decided to start working the body as he was. He was getting inside, as you can see in the clip. And then when he thought he was hitting a little too low on Jack Sharkey, well, he didn't think so. Jack Sharkey thought he was hitting a little too low. That's when he looked over at the ref. Dempsey saw the opportunity, clocked him right in the side of the jaw, and that knocked him out. Now, after that, it was said, were you hitting him too low? Jack Dempsey said, you know, I saw him look over. We were in the middle of a fight. What'd you want me to do? Write him a letter? I get it. We're boxers. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a like if you liked it. Otherwise, please consider subscribing, leave a comment, and as always, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.
But Sharkey had committed boxing's most grievous sin, leaving himself unprotected. Dempsey wins by a 7th round knockout.